Hola mi gente and welcome back to the channel. This is Sean from We Are Investing, and on this video we're going to be talking about Michael Burry and what he's saying about the stock market and the economy and why you should be paying attention to what Michael Burry is saying. Now, if you don't know who Michael Burry is, he's most famous for his prediction on the financial crisis that happened back in 08-07, where he shorted the market and made a ton of money. This prediction, this pick, was portrayed in the movie The Big Short. He made a ton of money off of that prediction, off of his thesis, and was one of the few investors that saw this coming. And he tried to warn people, but he was not a notable investor at the time, so not a lot of people paid attention to what he had to say. Now, his personal winnings from that Big Short, and just remember, he didn't have a lot of money at that time, but he made over $100 million from that Big Short personally. But in his account, he made over $700 million for his investors. That is close to $1 billion, and that is a ton of money. Although it's not a ton of money when you compare it to some of the bigger hedge funds in the world, but he did really good for his position size, and he made a ton of money. And he was one of the few investors that got this right. Now, he runs Scion Capital, and from 2000 to 2008, the net returns, net of fees and expenses for that fund was 489.34%, which ain't too shabby if you ask me, especially given the conditions of the market and the fact that we had a huge financial crisis. So needless to say, Scion Capital was one of the few funds that did really well during the financial crisis. But this fund also struck gold again just very recently. Scion Capital was able to convert $17 million to over $271 million in just under 4 months. The Big Short investor Michael Burry made a 1,500% gain on GameStop during its Reddit-fueled rally. This took tremendous foresight from Michael Burry to be able to get into GameStop before it went rocket. And that, my friends, is an investor that knows value and sees a situation where there could be extreme returns early and being able to capitalize that. That makes him, in my book, a very good investor. He got this right with the financial crisis, and he also got it right with GameStop. However, Michael Burry is saying some things that some of you investors might not agree with. And I don't know if he's right, but he is saying that Tesla is extremely overvalued, and he is shorting the stock. Michael Burry stated at the time when Tesla was $815 a share that the stock would close under $100 a share. He is comparing his bet against Tesla to his wager on a housing market collapse in a January tweet. My last short got bigger and bigger and bigger too, he said. Enjoy it while it lasts. Michael Burry is now shorting Tesla. He is a bear when it comes to Tesla stock, and he thinks that the stock is extremely overvalued and is going to come crashing down. And over the last month, the stock market has been correcting somewhat, and Tesla stock has been dropping. It currently trades at a share price of $693.73, and it was in the low 500s before it started to bounce back. Now, it is on a rally, and it could regain all of those losses. I don't know what's going to happen with Tesla stock. Now, Michael Burry isn't right, and he isn't wrong. We don't know what's going to happen with Tesla stock. The future will tell, but it is notable that Michael Burry, a man who has been right in the past big time, is shorting Tesla stock. Now, probably bigger than Tesla stock is that Michael Burry is warning of hyperinflation. A Weimar hyperinflation is coming our way, and that could be detrimental to the US stock market and to the economy overall. He posted his thesis on Twitter, which then since has been removed, and his Twitter right now doesn't really have anything on it. He pretty much deleted everything. But what is notable is his Twitter status, or whatever you call it, the headline of his Twitter page. Now, he goes by Cassandra, and on his Twitter, pretty much all that's left is a recommendation of rock bands and some restaurant recommendations. But there is a saying here in the bottom in Vietnamese, his wife is Vietnamese, that is pretty concerning. Now, stated below in his Twitter is, "No more, you know where I stand." Michael Burry has warned us multiple times over the last couple of months. He is no longer going to be warning us, and he is going to be silent. We are going to find out what positions he opens up in his 13F, but we will not find out what positions he shorts because that does not have to be reported. However, he did provide us a bunch of tweets on why he thinks we could be heading towards a Weimar type inflation. During the Weimar hyperinflation, right before it, he states that prices in Germany were steady and both businesses and the stock market were booming. The exchange rate of the mark against the dollar and other currencies actually rose for a time, and the mark was momentarily the strongest currency in the world on inflation eve. Now, right now, the stock market and businesses are doing pretty well considering the fact that we are in a pandemic. Some businesses have improved greatly. Some tech companies have really improved. And in the American 2.0, the digital revolution of America, a lot of businesses are actually better off. Those businesses that were able to convert, to transition into a digital world have been very, very successful. And the US dollar has not suffered much from the amount of dollars that are being printed by the Federal Reserve. Another thing that he stated was that speculation alone, while adding nothing to Germany's wealth, became one of its largest activities. The fever to join in turning a quick mark affected nearly all classes. Everyone from the elevator operator up was playing the market. And that is definitely true today. We are seeing huge amounts of speculation in the stock market, and so many people are investing and trading in the stock market, and they're trading very speculative plays. That can be seen by how many SPACs are out there, how many people are trading penny stocks, and how many people are trading stocks at extremely high valuations. Another comparison that he puts out there is the volumes of turnover in securities on the Berlin Bourse became so high that the financial industry could not keep up with the paperwork, and the Bourse was obligated to close several days a week to work off the backlog. Hashtag Robinhood down. Did we see a very similar situation with the GameStop frenzy when Robinhood and other brokerages stopped the buying activity of multiple securities, including GameStop, AMC, COS, Nokia, BlackBerry, and so many other securities? And then also stated is that throughout these years, the structure quietly building itself up for the blow. Germany's inflation cycle ran not for a year, but for 9 years, representing 8 years of gestation and only 1 year of collapse. So Michael Burry is suggesting through this tweet storm that we are in a gestation process right now, and hyperinflation, a collapse, is fast approaching. Now, whether that happens or not, I do not know. All I know is that this situation is unprecedented. We were in a recession and people actually made more money than they were before the recession. People during this recession were buying cars, were buying boats, and money is being printed left and right. And we just passed a huge stimulus package. And if the economy starts booming and then we also have money in people's pockets, they are definitely going to be spending more for products than they would before. And there is a huge pent-up demand, and businesses are going to start charging more as well because commodity prices have also risen a ton. Check out the price for lumber. Check out the price for copper. Check out the price for wheat. Check out the price for so many commodities, and you can see that they are much higher today than they were prior to the pandemic. Now, some of that has to do with the supply chain, and with the supply chain being messed up because of the pandemic and demand still being high, they have to raise prices. So hopefully the supply chain can fix itself and prices drop. But we don't know what's going to happen, and there is still a huge risk of inflation. People pretty much think inflation is going to happen, but it's going to correct itself. And if it never corrects itself, then we are going to be heading into very, very bloody days in the market. So with that being said, guys, just stay tuned. Just keep your eye out on all of this and be informed. An informed investor is a better investor. And with that being said, join the Patreon, join the community so that we can stay in touch with each other and we can learn from each other other and grow from each other. You get to follow the portfolio in real time. You get to join a Discord server of over 400 members, and we also do live chats pretty much monthly. So with that being said, join the Patreon. A link is provided down below, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so that YouTube will notify you when I make more videos. But it's been real, it's been fun, it's been real fun, and this is We Are Investing, and together we are invincible. See ya.